All right, let's talk about something that so many musicians find kind of intimidating, but it is, without a doubt, the secret key to unlocking your creativity. We are going to totally demystify ear training today and show you how it leads to real, honest-to-goodness musical freedom. Let's dive in. So let me just ask you this. Have you ever had a killer melody? I mean, just a brilliant idea for a solo, pop right into your head, and then nothing. Just this incredible frustration because you can't for the life of you figure out how to get it from your brain onto your instrument? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. And that gap right there is exactly what ear training is built to fix. And look, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some abstract academic idea. When a page for pro musicians asked them to rate the importance of ear training on a scale of 1 to 10, the answers were, well, pretty intense. We're talking 10 plus crucial, minimum of 10, and my personal favorite, 1,867,989. The message could not be clearer. The people who do this for a living think this skill is absolutely essential. Okay, so how do we get there? How do we get that freedom? Well, it all starts with understanding what that freedom really is and how ear training is the thing that finally unlocks the door. The best way to think about it is this. Ear training is literally the bridge that connects the music inside your head, all those incredible ideas, to the music you can actually make with your hands. It's the translation layer. Without it, you're just kind of fumbling around in the dark, hoping you stumble on the right notes. But with it, you become fluent.
And what does that fluency get you? Well, we're talking about the good stuff, like hearing a song you love and just being able to figure it out. We're talking about improvising solos that aren't just random scales, but actually say something. It's about writing your own songs, jumping in on a jam and harmonizing, and just, well, understanding music on this whole other, deeper level.
Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. Oh, you either have a good ear or you don't. You're born with it. I am telling you right now that is one of the biggest, most damaging myths in music. The truth is, this is a learnable superpower. And that superpower is called relative pitch. It has nothing to do with knowing a specific note out of the blue. It's all about understanding how notes relate to each other. You know, music is just a series of relationships and context, and relative pitch is the skill of hearing exactly that. So how's that different from perfect pitch? Well, perfect pitch, being able to name a note out of thin air, that's something you're pretty much born with. But relative pitch, that's a skill. Anyone can train it. And honestly, it's way more useful. In fact, perfect pitch can sometimes be a trap. There's this great story about a musician with perfect pitch who completely bombed a college dictation test. Why? Because the professor had transposed the music. To his ear, every single note was wrong, and his brain just short-circuited. But for everyone else, with relative pitch, the melody, the relationships between the notes sounded exactly the same. They passed, no problem. And that story just perfectly illustrates the main idea. Someone on Reddit put it so well. Relative pitch is how music works. A single note all by itself is, well, it's just a sound. It's kind of meaningless. It's the connection to other notes that actually creates what we call music. And that's what you're training your ear to hear. Okay, so we get it. Relative pitch is the goal. It's our learnable superpower. But how do we actually do it? Where do you even begin? Well, it starts with the absolute basics, learning the musical alphabet. And that alphabet is made up of things called intervals. Super simple concept. An interval is just the distance in pitch between any two notes. That's it. Every melody, every chord you've ever loved is just a specific combination of these simple building blocks. But here is a super important point. It's one thing to hear an interval on some app and click the right answer. That's just recognition. The real goal, as one jazz pro points out, is being able to sing it back. When you can produce that sound with your own voice, that's when you know you've truly internalized it. You've connected your ear, your mind, and your body. Now, as you get started, you just gotta watch out for a few common traps. Relying only on apps can give you a false sense of progress. And that trick of using songs to remember intervals, Here Comes the Bride for a perfect fourth, that's a fantastic first step, but it can become a crutch later on. And please, don't forget to use your instrument. The whole point is to connect your ear to what you play. And last but not least, consistency is king. So once you start getting the hang of that musical alphabet, the intervals, that's when things get really, really cool. You can start putting those letters together to make words and sentences. This is where you actually start speaking the language of music. Just take a look here. On the left, we've got a major chord broken down into its basic DNA. You see a major third interval and a perfect fifth. Then, on the right, you see the whole thing together. the chord as one unified sound. Once you can hear the parts, you can understand the whole structure. And you see how this works? It's a ladder. You're just climbing it one rung at a time. You master hearing intervals, which lets you start hearing chords. And once you can pick out individual chords, well, you're on your way to hearing how they move together in chord progressions, the stories that are the foundation of basically every song ever. And what's so amazing is that music isn't random. It has a grammar. A single scale, like C major, creates a whole predictable family of chords, just like you see in this chart here. Your ear can actually learn to recognize these family patterns. So when you listen to a song, you're not just hearing random sounds. You start to recognize the underlying structure. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we make it happen without getting totally overwhelmed? Let's build a simple, powerful daily routine that actually works. Here it is, a 4-step routine that takes less than 20 minutes a day. First, pitch matching. Just put on a song and hum or sing along with the melody. Get your voice locked in with what you're hearing. Second, sing some scales and arpeggios. Using solfege, do, re, mi, is amazing for this. Third, a little game. Put on any song and try to find the home bass note, the tonic. And fourth, the most important step. Pick up your instrument and try to pick out a simple melody by ear. That's it. And the magic number for all of this? Aim for about 20 to 30 minutes a day. That is all you need. Experts on this stress that doing a little bit every day is way, way more effective than a marathon session once a week. You're literally building new pathways in your brain, and consistency is what makes them stick. For ear training, consistency beats intensity every single time. So, when you boil it all down, ear training isn't magic. It's not some gift from the heavens. It is a trainable skill. It's a bridge that you build piece by piece from intervals to chords to whole songs. It all starts with a simple, daily practice. So, the only question left is, what song are you going to learn by ear first?